Hello, everybody. This is Dan with the Wealth Instinct. I wanted to share with you my article, Sales, a Dirty Word I Learned to Love. If you could do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get notifications. So, growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to do sales. um, I just, I just always felt like salespeople were slimy. I basically viewed salespeople as used car salesmen, and um, And I was like, yeah. And in fact, I initially wanted to study business in school and own my own business, but I was just so. My sister told me, she says, well, if you study business, you might end up doing sales, and you don't want to do that. And I was like, you're right, I don't want to do sales. So I ended up studying mechanical engineering, which was a good degree. It was hard, but it got me a good paying job, but less, I think, opportunity for growth, right? I think sales is one of those things where it's easy to get started in, but in order to make it, you gotta really hustle and work hard, but you can really be worth it and pay off in the long run. Um, but that was kind of my belief growing up, and I remember finding out my grandpa did sales, and he was such a cool guy. I'm like, Grandpa, what you're a salesman? But the truth is, sales I think is a noble profession. It wasn't until I started working with some really, really good salespeople that I finally understood the importance of sales. And it's because, there's a lot of, it's hard to make decisions, right? And it's hard to make, um, it's hard to feel good about making a decision if you don't feel like you're making an informed decision and if you don't feel like you really understand the issue. And I think what a good salesperson can do is a good salesperson knows your needs. They take the time to get to know you. They take the time to get to know what you're all about and what you need, right? Like if you're buying a car, do you need, basic transportation? Do you need a truck? Do you need a van? Do you need luxury? Do you need just something basic, right? Like they need to know kind of who you are, what you need, and then they need to help you understand your options and find something that meets your needs, right? And that's same if you're buying a house, right? Like, are you going to have a family? Are you going to live here 2 years, 10 years, 20 years? Are you trying to invest? Like, you're going to get, you're going to make a different decision based on who you are and what you're trying to do. And you just need help understanding the market and what's available, and you need help making that decision. And making that decision comes down to understanding the cost of not making a decision and of the opportunity in your decision and what could come of it, right? And a good salesperson understands kind of the psychology of making a decision, and they understand how to relate information in a way that people can appreciate and that people can take action on. And ultimately, if a salesman does his job right or her job right, you feel good, moving forward because you've stacked all these reasons and all this value behind what you're doing. And the cost is a price that you're willing to pay because the value you're getting is so much more. Um, and and sales is the lifeblood of your business. I mean, it's like the most critical thing. When I opened my first business, I felt like, oh, we've got to have this difficult conversation. Now like I need to take your money, and it's like, no, I'm giving you so much value, and it only costs this much, right? Like this is what you get, this, and this is the benefit to you. Like this is an incredible value, and this is all we charge, and we're able to do this because of these reasons, and this is how we're able to keep our price low, right? Um, it's so critical to your business. Like you've got to be a salesperson, but not come off like a salesperson, right? Like in a negative way. People want to buy, but they don't want to be sold. I think that's a popular quote. So really, to me, it's about problem solving. It's about getting to know people. It's about helping people make decisions. And you've got to be kind of an educator as a salesperson, right? Like when people have objections, it's because they don't understand. They don't have the full context. They don't, if your product costs twice as much, they just think you're overpriced. But if you can help them understand that your product actually is much better and is going to last longer and give them what they need, and and you've got extra service, and there's all these, reasons that you charge more and that you really believe in the value of your product, and you're able to communicate that effectively, people will happily pay more. Like, I hate buying something and then regretting it. And usually you don't regret it because you paid too much. You regret it because you bought the wrong product, or you bought something that didn't offer the value you needed, right? It's not like, oh, I wish I'd paid less for this. It's like, I wish I hadn't bought it. I wish I'd bought that and paid more. I wish I'd known what I know now. And a good salesperson can help people understand that in the beginning, right? But it comes down to really listening to people, understanding their needs. To me, it's about serving others, right? Like, you're there. Like, when someone's buying a house, like, that's one of the most difficult decisions, in life. And it's like, do you sell houses or do you help people find a home, right? If there's a young couple and they are starting a family, like, they're looking at this home as like maybe a 10 or 20-year home, or a life, maybe a home that their kids will inherit, their grandkids, like, that's a big decision for them, and they need someone who cares about them and takes time to get to know them. And same, even a business, like, a business is something that if you do it right, it could be passed down to generation, and it could give people the freedom and to have a family and have the life they want. And if you have a business opportunity, you've got to care about the people you're serving, and want to help them. And so that's, to me, um, I think that most salespeople are good people with good intentions, but there's a few that give salespeople a bad reputation. And if you have one bad experience, you tell 10 people. If you have a good experience, you might tell one, right? So I think the key, though, is, like anything, is to learn and grow constantly, right? There's the more you can learn, then the more you have to offer, and the more opportunities you have to connect with people. And really, that's what it comes down to. Is sales is really about building relationships, right? Like, you need to find a way to connect with and get to know people, um, so that they feel comfortable, um, trusting you and buying from you, right? Like they say, people buy from people they like, and so you've got to be good at connecting with people, and in a real way, right? Not like in a fake way, but in a real way. It's funny, like, there's a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I was talking to this woman recently, and she was like, "Oh, I think that's terrible. I hate books like that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, because the title, I think, sounds misleading, and I actually thought that 2 years ago before I ever read it. And I'm like, "Why is this book popular? This is terrible. Trying to win friends and influence people, like, that sounds shady." But if you've read the book, and if you haven't, you need to read it. Dale Carnegie is really just talking about how to connect with people, like how to find, everyone you meet has something about them that you could admire or like. And if you take the time to discover that, and just share with them what you like or appreciate about them, um, you're going to like them more, and they're going to be more open to you, and it creates that connection, right? Like, it doesn't matter who the person is, there's going to be something about them that you can admire or appreciate. And when you share that, it creates a connection, and you both feel that, and it's powerful. And it's funny, like, there's been some sales people that I've worked with on a major decision and haven't talked to in years, but I still think of them as a friend, from that few interactions where we really connected and they really helped me out quite a bit. I still have positive association to them, and I think about them. And if people needed a referral, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, go talk to, Joe or Susie." Like, they really help me out, and they're really good, and they're really knowledgeable. And yes, I think sales, has a bad reputation, but it's really critical to business. And I think it can be a very noble and honest profession if you take it seriously and you treat it that way. And check out this link. This is a really good link, from Jeff Lerner, that has a lot of really good information about not really just sales, but about business and e-commerce, and creating an online business, but also how to have better relationships. I think what I've learned about relationships from his site is almost more valuable than the business part. And also just focusing on, because business is all relationships, customer service, Sales, it's all about building and maintaining relationships. Managing employees is all about relationships. So check it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Um, and be sure to like my page and click the bell icon, and we'll talk soon.